Good evening, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
You got JC, Candy, and Mrs. Sylvia in the building tonight.
All righty.
Waiting for a few people. We just want to address a few things and be able to let you guys know what is happening. And Mrs. Sylvia page is affected, as everyone knows. We are working diligently trying to get her back up and running properly. As you guys know, people are upset with the content that she is sharing. They also got upset that we brought her on and when we shared our content. So there was some complaints on both sides that way. So we just want to address it. And we want to be able to talk about that this evening. So we'll let everybody get in and we can discuss a few things, and we can also discuss what we have on some laws. Is it raining by you guys?
It was earlier.
We're supposed
How's
to have
everyone feeling tonight?
no Sunday night. Everybody should be relaxed in. Hi, sweet lady, Sugar. Thank you for coming. Damien, hello. Tracy, hello. I hope I don't say this wrong. Speech out. Hello. Hello, Lovin. So yes, as you know, Mrs. Sylvia's been having some issues on her page. How long has it been now, Miss Sylvia, since we did your first one? Like a month ago?
As far as the when you first started help?
No, not when we did the stuff to I'm talking about like your first complaint that had came in that was like a month, right?
Yeah, about a month ago, yeah. Yeah.
And then she had also after that it was another one, and then all of a sudden they just shut it down, and then her members are going away. So we don't know what's happening with that. And obviously the people know that when you cover sensitive topics, not everyone is going to agree with it. So we just want to make sure that the ones that are on our platforms, between our platform and Mrs. Sylvia's platform, that it is respectful and that we stay respectful. There is no bashing of Mrs. Sylvia that is going to be going on. We are trying to be respectful to everyone. Everyone is going to have their opinions. And on this platform over here, we encourage you guys to say how you feel and keep it respectful and professional. She's bummed out, guys. She's bummed out. Got to cheer her up.
I'm good.
And I do want to say, you guys, that we are community. We are not your neighbors because we don't live near you. However, we're all a community and we're here just for a fight for justice. So it's enough love for everyone to respect everyone here on this platform and on Miss Sylvia's platform.
Absolutely.
We're a family.
Absolutely. We have enough love for everyone. Gotta send some love in. Right, Miss Sylvia?
Yes.
We are keeping her positive, guys. We are keeping her positive. We do have a couple things that we do want to go over. You know, Miss Sylvia will be doing her trial all week long. the jury is out all week, right, Miss Sylvia?
Yeah, they're out until Friday. Tomorrow we have a half a day. Tuesday we have a half a day, and then the rest of the week we go in full day.
Okay. So what would we be expecting this week?
Motions, redactions, going over different testimonies, what they don't want, what they wanted, all that kind of stuff. They're gonna be going in, and then it's not just two motion; it's a couple of them because you have Miss D. Williams' motion that they need to discuss about her client's memorandum.
Oh, if they were read, was it read or read in time? Was that the issue?
I think read in time or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was, but
You said read in time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or complete or something like that. I don't remember exactly the terminology used.
Okay. So we have a new, we have a letter for a new senator. We did have some letters that went out to all the above, all the way up the food chain. We made sure that those went out. Our petition, you guys, is doing really well. It's gaining great momentum. I don't know if the ones that are in the chat tonight, if you guys have seen, there is a petition for Fulton, and it is wrapped up in one, both RICOs. You got the YSL RICO, the Trump RICO, and it covers the housing authority and then also what is happening in the courthouse. All 4 pictures on there. It is approved by Mr. Williams' father and everything in it. So he is the keeper of that. And we can put that up for you guys to get that signed. And then we have, hi, Steph Lova. Hi, Felicia Fee, Unscripted Angel. Hello, guys. So just a few things that we wanted to cover and go over with you guys. We have a few things. I don't know if everyone is familiar with the actual process of what you guys are hearing when Mrs. Sylvia is in that courtroom, like on some of the law language and what does it mean. We have some information that we have that basically covers, what happens when they exclude this, or what is exculpatory evidence, what does prosecutorial misconduct entail, what is the ramification of that. Have you ladies caught the case where they had prosecutorial misconduct that was charged? Believe it was Kempville, something along those lines.
Was that Hemphill?
Yeah. So the judge actually, what was that, Sylvia?
No, I didn't hear what the term you use.
So there was for prosecutorial misconduct that they brought against the DAs. And it was with a meeting. I was reading up on it and just seeing exactly what was happening with that. And what is really crazy is everything that you guys have seen is basically exactly what we're seeing now. So there was a couple. Prosecutorial misconduct is when the state abuses its power. So former DA explains prosecutorial misconduct refers to unethical or illegal tactics by prosecutors in a criminal case, which is withholding exculpatory evidence from the defense, making false statements, presenting inadmissible evidence to the jury. And when prosecutors are found to have committed misconduct, they have to be disciplined and the defendant can be afforded relief. The conviction should be overturned when that occurs.
So, question.
Mhm.
Since these prosecutors have been found violated some of these things, even though the judge only gave them a slap in the hand for them to take some remedial classes, can they push for what you're asking for right now? Can Steele and the other attorneys push for that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It can be filed. It can be filed by anyone, but you typically kind of don't see it from the lawyers when they are fighting in the trial. Most of the time, it will come from hierarchy, higher up, or it comes from we the people. So that one makes a difference because there's a few different things that can apply to it. I have some examples for you guys. And then also, I mean, what you demand is basically.
Well, I wanted to touch a little bit on that. So, Ms. Sylvia, yes, what they'll usually do, you said, what did you say? I didn't hear you.
When you're done, what do you guys think? Should we read the letter?
We can do that, but they also, that's when and when I say they, the attorneys will do the motions for mistrial, because that would be like the disciplinary act for the prosecutorial misconduct, which is like false information being presented, and like Jael stated, the exculpatory evidence that's being permitted at that time, even though Whitaker is not saying, you know what, you guys been holding on to this evidence, and I do see that we need a mistrial. But all she is doing is approving. She is saying, you know what, this is a slap on the wrist. Don't do it again. So she's conceding with what they're doing.
Yeah, not only that, there's 4 types of prosecutorial misconduct.
Right.
And it's failing to disclose exculpatory evidence, which you just touched on, introducing false evidence, using improper arguments, discriminating in jury selection. So you typically see that in the remedy for that. A judge can do any of the following if he or she finds that misconduct prejudiced the accused: dismiss the charges, admonish the jury to disregard certain evidence or comments, grant a motion for mistrial. Those are the choices. That is what it says. That is what the law is. And then also, I want to talk about 2 different things here. There is the prosecutorial misconduct, but then there's also malicious prosecution. So malicious prosecution is different. And I know that there hasn't been much talk out there about that. So I just kind of wanted to touch on that. And malicious prosecution refers to something different than prosecutorial misconduct. This phrase refers to a case that gets filed without any legal foundation or basis to it. The case can be either civil or criminal in nature. And that's exactly, what we're seeing a lot of here. We're seeing a lot of it here. Introducing false evidence. And what that entails is if a prosecutor introduces evidence that is false or inadmissible, That can include hearsay statements, untrue or unfounded character evidence, lies from a witness, or false testimony. Just a brief example of that, a prosecutor is in the middle of a well-contested felony hit and run case. The only evidence he has left to try and secure a conviction is testimony from a law enforcement officer. The officer is willing to testify that the criminal defendant admitted to him that he committed the crime. The problem, however, is that the prosecutor knows that the officer is lying about the admission. So bent on getting a guilty charge, the prosecutor has the police officer testify. The officer commits perjury and testifies, and the defendant admitted that he committed the crime. The accused is later convicted in violation of the constitutional right to a fair trial. So here, the prosecutor committed misconduct by introducing evidence that he knew was false to get a wrongful conviction. So the defendant would be entitled to a retrial.
Yes.
And then, Candy, do you want to cover the improper arguments?
Well, what I was going to say, with that being said, that will show you that there are two types of justice: substantive justice and procedural justice. So the substantive justice is the fairness and the correctiveness of the law and the rules and the regulations. So it focuses on the context of the law and the norms, which we're looking for equality, equity, and ethical principles. And then the procedural justice, it's the fairness of the law and the process itself. So it also involves ensuring that the legal process are being met, conducted properly, and there's transparency and due process, which also leads into our amendments, that we need to make sure that everyone who's involved with any criminal actions, whether or not guilty or not guilty, they still have their amendments to be upheld.
Absolutely. And so just to, tag on to that, another part, what you guys are hearing is probably you're going to be like, oh my gosh, we're seeing this every day. And then now you get of actual what the ramifications are. So another thing would be improper arguments. There's several types of arguments or assertions that a prosecutor cannot make during a criminal case. And for example, prosecutors cannot assert or argue about facts not in evidence. Comment on a defendant's decision to not testify. Express personal opinions about evidence or matters in a case. They cannot give inflammatory comments. It is considered misconduct if it's considered misconduct if a prosecutor engages in any of the above. And note that this is the type of misconduct that often occurs in either prosecutors. You'll see it in opening arguments, closing arguments, asserting facts not in evidence. So it says, in a criminal trial, both the prosecutors and defense counsel have to provide evidence for any facts they wish to assert. If the misconduct, then if the prosecutor refers to a fact for which there is no evidence, an example, Nia is on trial for a violent robbery. In her closing remarks at the trial, Ruth, the prosecutor, tells the jury that the violent crime has declined significantly in the area where the robbery occurred since Nia has been locked up. And Ruth never introduced any evidence during the trial to support the statement that crime has declined in that area. Therefore, she has committed prosecutorial misconduct by arguing facts not in evidence in an effort to prove the defendant's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. So we are bringing these things to you guys so that way, you guys are aware when you're watching it of, what are the different things. The other is commenting on the defendant's failure to testify. That cannot be done. A prosecutor can never comment on a defendant's choice to not testify on his or her behalf. What is another thing that we are seeing? Inflammatory comments. Certain inflammatory comments from a prosecutor can lead to misconduct finding. An example of that is when the district attorney argues for so-called safe streets. There is an appeal to jury's general fear of crime rather than the evidence that the defendant committed a crime. So another example, in a child molestation trial, in closing arguments, the prosecutor comments, "None of your own children will be safe if you let a predator like this back on the street." Can't say that. The defendant's Sixth Amendment right to a fair trial. That's one that we hear all the time in this one, like a little bit too often. And these are all things that we're hearing.
Do everyone know that we have 27 amendments? And I'll just go over a couple of them that we hear a lot, like JL stated. So one, we have the freedom of religion, speech, and peaceful assembly together. Number 4 is the right to not be searched or have something taken away within reason. 5, which we heard, we have the right to life, liberty, property, and not double jeopardy. So not to self-incriminate. So that's when people plead the 5th. Amendment 6, the right to a speedy trial, public trial, and with a jury of your peers. Amendment right 8, protection from excessive bail and cruel and unusual punishment.
They violate that a lot.
Number 9, the rights to not list on the Constitution. And that means if there are any rights that are not listed on the Constitution, then hey, we need to see what it is, see if there's a statute or a rule for that, and then that's when they would fight for it. And then number 14, equal protection under the Constitution for all United States citizens. These rights are all being violated every time these men are going to court, even while they're not in court. So please, you guys, just learn your rights, try to understand the law. I know it's tricky, I know it's confusing, and I know it's exhausting. But we need to make sure we understand everything so we can protect ourselves and our families.
That's right. We're seeing a lot of those things, and we're seeing a lot of those things, with these gentlemen here and the others that just think of how many others that are sitting in courtrooms that don't have the ability to be able to afford a dream team lawyers. And that is, a big problem within the United States everywhere. The public defenders are not funded properly, not nearly enough for what their caseloads are and how many files that get dumped into those offices on a daily basis. I know a lot of people have a lot of stigmas about appointed prosecutors or lawyers, public defenders, because of that. But it is really, it's really a travesty to see so many that are just caught up in that system there, to where they're comparing it to Gitmo. And I don't know if everyone knows what Gitmo is. If you don't, look it up. Follow. There are 3 interviews, and I can post them in the link, of Chief Judge Glanville, District Attorney Fani Willis, and Commissioner Mr. Rob Pitts. all three of them had done a personal interview. I had touched a few minutes on it the other day, but I didn't put the entire interview up. But you guys should really watch that, because you will be able to see the back and forth and you'll be able to see exactly where the blame is going, how it's pointed back and forth, and then you will hear the numbers and see the numbers. What you do know right now is that Fulton County is not safe, and it has not been safe since the numbers has drastically increased since 2021. And those are facts that they have for the numbers that they have posted for their state. And it's really sad to see that, because you think of all of the ones that are affected and how many people that are waiting justice. And then you think of all the resources that went into this YSL trial. I don't know if you guys know, but 4,000 rape kits were forfeited for special prosecutors for the other RICO for Trump. And then they forfeited youth for the YSL. So backwards for that. 4,000 rape kits forfeited. So just think of those victims that will not have DNA to prove that that happened to them. It's pretty sad. It's pretty sad. But they did announce Courtney Kramer has come forward that she is running. I read up. We reached out to her campaign, and we will see. We will see. Let me see, guys. She said, I can't wait for the motions tomorrow. I'm really hoping the prosecutors aren't prepared and that everything goes smoothly for the defense team. Yeah, that is kind of interesting to see, what it's going to be. All of the things that you can look up and see, all of the things that have gone wrong. The number one thing that it tells you in all of the books, when you see all these different type of things, it tells you that mistrial or a defendant has relief. We haven't seen any of those remedies with all of the issues. So what we've been doing is writing down from day one of just the different laws that have not been enforced and have been broken. So that way we can see actually how many, and we can include it in the analysis. And then also we have all of the times where prosecution has not been candid. That is an immediate issue that should have been handled at the first time that occurred. There is a letter that has went out. We have put a letter out, and it has went to all the hierarchy all the way up. And, we are really hopeful that some great things will take place and that it'll make some changes. It says, Bama Nola. I don't have any faith in the judge to agree with the defense attorneys. Well, everyone is really saying that right now. So that's kind of around everywhere right now. Everyone is saying that. Everyone is saying that they had faith in this judge from the beginning, and that their faith was lost rather quickly for how she has been dealing with things. And a great reminder is you have to remember She is not going to allow the chief judge to get on the stand. She will not allow a cross-examination on him, and she will not allow that to go before the jury because she still is going to preserve his professional side of his job. And whether anyone likes that or not, we're kind of watching that be displayed on a daily basis. Has anyone noticed that the slowly getting back to exactly where we came from?
I have to say, confession, I have
Not
not
that confession no more.
I have not watched it from the beginning. However, what I had caught, because I was caught up in the corporate world, but just coming into it, just seeing that corruption has already been played out, it's like she's mirroring her counterpart because he is not her boss, but she is mirroring his exact mannerisms and that tactical stance they have. It appears that they are trying to win to no avail for these young men. So hopefully I'm wrong. So you guys tell me that I'm wrong.
I don't know. Sylvia is the current judge that is on the bench right now. Is she running for a higher position?
Not currently. She probably
Not-
eventually will.
It looks like she just recently got that position. Is that correct?
Yeah, she doesn't come back, I think, for another 2 years for her to
So word on the curb is Glenn. I don't know why I say that. I got to get out of that. I don't know why I say word on the curb. I need to find some other way to say that. I don't know. I always say word. I got to stay away from my son because he always says that. Word on the curb is Glanville is out in December. He's retiring. Is that true?
Not that I know of, because he just won his position.
He did.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
he's only a year in, so I thought that was very interesting that I don't know where I seen that at. I seen it somewhere. I don't know where I read it, but they said that he was going to retire in December due to health. And I don't know if that was accurate or not, or if he was, but I'm like, he's only a year in. So that is the other part. What did they, well, at least he's not in the streets. You still hear stuff from the curb. Well, I gotta find a different, saying. That's just bad. And I know, like some people were upset, or wait, who said that? Sylvia, for the judge, they said the chief judge is not their boss.
they said he's administrative position, but he's the one like signed different orders for them if they need it and things like that.
Right.
But as far as being their boss, they're elected officials voted in,
Mm-hmm.
all of them. So it's the people that is their boss.
Right. So as their boss, they're fired.
Yeah. Yeah. We
Like
the
Donald
people.
Trump, you're fired.
No, those were Woody's. he did that on the stand. It said Weinstein stated that. That's what Dia Lima said. I know I heard it somewhere, and I'm not really sure. That's why I said word on the curb, because I can't give the exact resource of where that came from. But I just wanted to see if, everyone was kind of familiar or had questions about like what's exactly happening there in different terms that you guys are hearing, that it's like, okay, well, what does that exactly entail? What goes along with that? The letter that was put out is an urgent plea that, you know, we are looking for intervention at this point, because it is, you have to think of, I know so many people are saying, well, her running mate is, you know, just in for a couple years. And it's like, yeah, you got to learn more about her. You know, we do too. And that's the way it goes. But we know that what is happening right now is very, very scary. Because if you spend this many resources and this much time on cold cases, and the city is running rampant right now, no one is safe in Fulton. Everything has been up, the numbers, and it's pretty scary because you want to spend all of those resources to combat what's happening now. And you want to be able to combat, and you want to make sure all these rape kits are tested. You want to make sure that ballistics is done. You want to make sure that the labs are caught up and you have enough funding in there. All of those things that matter that really clean it up. But I really had a really good vision. And I know, I just want to make it clear too, just in case one of the ladies slip up and say it. I know that people mispronounce Mrs. Willis's first name. It's Fani. And I know that because of how it's spelled, we're inclined to say Fanny. And I know that she had came out and said that was a way of people sexualizing her name for the behind, and that is not the intent. I have caught myself a couple times that I have said that, and it has been by just sounding out the A and the N. So it is not intentional. So that's why I just stick to Mrs. Willis, because I've done it too many times.
And I agree with you because phonically, no pun intended, that's how it is pronounced. So, and I do want her to know that we all on this page and we respect her name.
Yeah, we're not sexualizing anyone's
Right.
name or any of that. Like, that's not what we're here for. We don't want to do any of that, or we just want to make sure. Let me see.
And
I gotta look in these
I wanted
comments.
to circle back on what you were saying in regards to needing to make sure the funds are distributed appropriately to the ballistics, to the rape, for the rape investigations. Not only that, but the people that are housed in the county jail, they're housed in a county jail, not in prison. These people are sitting waiting for an indictment. And then they're sitting there and they may not even have one brought against them for years
Yeah.
in unhumane environments.
Sylvia, be careful with those you intertwine yourself with, especially with the accusatory language. Use wisdom. Tootie, these are not accusations. This is all on record. These are all reports, Tootie, that you can pull and get the same information. It's all out there. It's all out there. There's not, what we've read in the beginning is straight from law book. Those are facts. The crime statistics, they have released it. Those are facts. We have 24 years worth. So we're very intentional. But if you like the word allegedly, there you go. Fannie Willis's opponent seems to have an agenda to dismiss Trump's case, and I think it's important for legislators to create new laws that establish checks and balances for the DA's office. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's exactly That's exactly the point. I don't know how much people know, like the oversight, like DAs have very minimal oversight. Like if there's an issue within a district attorney's office, you have to climb those ladders. You have to climb those ladders, and you have to make sure that you have all your ducks in the row. You got to make sure that everything is there and that you have concrete proof.
Yeah.
But what we're seeing here is obviously, how they get in seat. It is from we the people. We the people seat them there, and we the people unseat them there.
Absolutely.
For any wrongdoing or anything that is against the law or anything ethical or any of that, all of that has different places that could be dealt with. And those are the places that you go when you need help. And if you don't get help with that one, you have to go to the next one. We just want to be able to see these changes be made, because obviously the YSL trial and the Trump trial is very big because of their name attached to it. But how many courts are going on that we the people don't see because they are of no stature, and they don't have the income to have great attorneys, and so they're not going to be highlighted the same way. And so yes, we're able to see these things, and when you see these things highlighted, that's where you're able to help the ones underneath, because you have to understand that one doesn't go without the other, and you have to make sure. So just going over some of the things we're seeing, all of them that says that is straight from the law book. This isn't just small talk or any of that. It doesn't work that way. And we have seen several comments that had to be striked with the juries. Admonish the jury to disregard certain evidence or comments. That's happened several times. The remedies that it says for laws: dismiss the charges, admonish the jury to disregard certain evidence or comments, or grant a motion for a new trial. And so just going over the different things, you have prosecutorial misconduct, you have malicious prosecution, which is a whole different ball game.
But what we do not want is for Whitaker to go ahead and do a mistrial without prejudice, because we don't want the state to reconvene and try to gather additional overt actions and then configurate again and reconvene and then bring these charges against these men all over again. Because if she does it without prejudice, that is exactly what that is. That means there's no anything that was prejudice that was brought against those gentlemen, and whatever the state has evidence or falsified statements will be brought against them.
Yeah. And I mean, the thing is, you just can't go out there and throw accusations out there and say, okay, this is exactly what is going on. This is what's happening. We have to see the different things that are happening day by day. And I think America agrees. There's so many different states, cities, different people, professions that are chiming in, and they are so beside themselves that this many resources could hold up this many years of the courts. And they have an extensive issue to fight right now: crime, robbery, theft, shortage of staff, the jail overcrowded. You have people that are in jail, they have no bond, they have no court date, they are waiting to see if they have charges. They are paying a neighboring Cobb County to be able to house the extra overflow. And you have all these ones. Nothing has stopped with processing them in, but they are delayed being processed out. And this trial has been going on since, Sylvia, was it January 2022?
January 23.
23.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And
You're 23?
January 4th, 2023.
Oh.
so you look at that and where we're at today and how long you have to look at that court. That particular courtroom is handcuffed. So there's not going to be any other defendants that are going to be coming in that courtroom because it's held up. And then you had the next courtroom that was held up with the Trump trial. And then you had another courtroom at the beginning that had the YFN RICO. And then you had the other one that had the Atlanta public school system.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to think of all these big trials that are held up in there. It's not just this YSL thing.
You forgot the Cobb City with the 61 defendants of RICO.
Oh, yeah, Cobb City, that's another one. And then you have to remember how the judges are working. You have to think of, on the interview that I played with the commissioner, he faults the judges. He said that the judges do not work enough.
They're playing golf.
He said that, they come in for a little bit and then they go to golf, and some don't come in at all. And I don't know what job that you're able to do that at. If you know that you have backlogs, you have people that are locked up that don't even know if they're going to be charged for any of this to happen.
Absolutely.
As of 8/31 of 23, the highest caseload that a judge had in Fulton County Courthouse was 163 cases. That was the top one that had at one time. The lowest one was 26, and that's the chief. You have 7 judges out of that courthouse that were under 100 cases. And if you work the numbers and you have one judge with the highest caseload at 163, and then you add in the backlog and you add on how many have been processed in and how many are still in there from that time. And you got to think of all these courtrooms are handcuffed with all these huge RICOs. The small fries are not able to get in. They're pushed off and they're pushed to the back.
And there are so many that's in there who can't even afford, like you said, an attorney.
Yeah, can't afford anything.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to wait on there was a gentleman that went up before the judge, and the judge had an attitude, with him. And he said, "I'm sorry, like nobody's come to see me." He said, wait a minute.
And it was for like almost a year, he said.
So what do you mean nobody's come to see you? Nobody's come to see me. That was his first time before the judge.
Absolutely.
And so how can you process that in your mind in saying that locking up these individuals right here for something that occurred 10 years ago that you're still trying to figure out evidence on, and there's no weapon, no bullets, no DNA, nothing. You have a blurred video, no faces, Don't know who's all in there. Don't know if it's 1, 2, 6, 7, nothing. You know nothing. But all of these cases are handcuffing basically the courts. And so it makes a huge difference. There's no way that those numbers should be that extreme and that low. Boots, yes. It is his petition, his father's petition. We are just fighting on the ground for it. We have a call of action we are going to do at the footsteps of the courthouse, and we will be at the polls as well. We have groups that we are pairing with, and then we also paired with a second movement that is going to help as well. So if any of you guys want to volunteer or help out with anything, send us the email. We'd be glad to sign you up. That would be awesome. So just, going over those type of things and seeing, exactly what those things are, and, what is the real problem, and why is America so tuned in? Because of the actions that are being displayed, or because of the name that is up there? Oh, I haven't seen Plant Lady on in a long time over by you. Every time I see that name, I think of my grandma with 1,000 plants. Like every time I see her name, I'm like, what are those plants that grow up the wall? Those little ivy plants?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's exactly what came to my mind when I seen the picture. Let's see. I prefer quality over quantity, but right now there's neither one due to. I prefer quality over quantity, but right now there's neither one due to unethical judges and prosecutors. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, think of how much money that has gone into this, and then also had got extra resources.
And that's why it's important to vote.
At first, just the name, now it's both. After Steele got locked up, it got even more global. Yeah, that's exactly right. I think everyone was everybody was pretty shocked to even see it come forward, though, knowing the state of Fulton. What I can say is, had she done this differently, oh man, she would have been praised like no other there. Had she worked with them to turn around her community, because they are such a big figure and they have such a influence, that literally what they could do for the community in reaching back with the youth could be tremendous. It could be really tremendous, and that would have been really commendable. It would have been really commendable. She's had several different people of high profile status that goes through those courtrooms. Atlanta is a big place. Atlanta is housed with a lot of talent. You guys have a show film there. Love and Hip Hop Atlanta is filmed there.
But not only that, I do believe the Tyler Perry Studios are located there.
You're correct.
Oh, that's in Atlanta.
There's a lot of people that can get behind this, but it's just the community. My thing is, and I'm sure a lot of people think that when it comes to Black people, what do? We march and it's an uproar. However, we have to use our emotional intelligence and understand we have to do more than that. We have to work together, come together and fight. So what the I don't know, I want to say the political aspect of it. A lot of people, they look and they'll say, okay, well, what are we going to do? We're going to try to reach them at their pathos, which is their emotional level. Once they are up in an uproar, they march and they come. I don't want to say complain, but elevate their voices. Then they're going to stop and then they're going to forget. So that's why we have to be on an emotional level with the ethos. Okay, who is this person? What is their credibility? Let's actually hold their feet to the fires. When it gets hot, what are you going to do? Show me what you're going to do. Actions speak louder than words, you guys.
Absolutely. And it does take a lot of it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of work to just research and be able to go through things and see things. But don't just think that this is Atlanta, guys. This is only opening the door for everyone to look within their own courthouse and know what is happening within there. Because you have to know that when these big high profile cases come in, you don't know what's happening to the little fish. And they're being fried, dyed, and laid to the side. I liked how that went. I'm going to write that down.
Are you hungry?
I am. You guys know I was on the road for 10 hours today. I had to go to Chicago today. I had to drive to Chicago today, and that was crazy. So you just think of all of these things, and you see all of these things, and you say, what can I do within my community? That, they could be doing something. You might need a call of action there. You might know someone that is in need. But when you see lives being disposed of at a drop of a dime, and you see that everything, as busy as it is in Atlanta, and the overcrowding in the jail, and the backlog issue, and one's waiting for just their first day in court, and all the rape kits that were forfeited, and you have all of those things you look at all the exhausted resources of the hard-earned taxpayer dollars. That community is no safer. It's worse than what they're digging back 10 years ago. They were in a better condition as a community 10 years ago than where they're at right now. And I think in society everywhere, it's getting gradually worse. And so the focus on the now is so important. And if we can't get them to the now, and we can't get them out of the past, how can you expect your community to be safe? Clifton probably spent about 3 of those hours driving the Chicago Loop. I don't even want to talk about the Loop. I got stuck on the Loop for 2 hours for 3 accidents, because you all know it ain't Chicago if you're not bumper to bumper and actually hitting each other's bumpers. That's why you see beautiful cars dinged up there, and I just go right along with them. I can half see either, so that's part of the other problem. So it really does make a really big difference when you see those type of things, and we're seeing some of the words that are being displayed, and we're seeing it right there in the courtroom. And we're like, okay, well, what does that mean? What is exculpatory evidence, failure to disclose? What happens with that? Prosecutors have a legal duty to give the defense the following: evidence suggesting that the accused is not guilty, evidence suggesting that the accused deserves a lesser sentence. This evidence is often referred to as, quote unquote, we know this word very well, Brady material. And the label of that comes from a real legal case, Brady versus Maryland. And you guys are probably real familiar with that case because you guys have probably heard it several times within this trial. A prosecutor's failure to turn over exculpatory evidence is a Brady violation. And that can lead to a finding of misconduct, which is a big deal. And just an example, I'm just using different words in different situations. Doug is charged with rape after a grand jury indictment. He was vehemently denied the charge since the first day he was investigated for it. So in defense, he has always maintained that he was somewhere else when the crime was committed. He maintains he was at a going away party and there's no DNA evidence. So a problem with the defense is that Doug's lawyer cannot find a solid alibi witness to testify to having seen Doug at this party. So a couple weeks before trial, a person comes to the prosecutor's office and gives a statement about the party. In that statement, she'll make a quick reference to seeing Doug there. The prosecutor buries this favorable evidence in the case file and does not share it with the defense counsel right away. This is prosecutorial misconduct since the prosecutor withheld evidence in violation of the defendant's right. A defendant can obtain this material by bringing the Brady motion, and it's introducing false evidence. If misconduct of a prosecutor introduces evidence that is false or inadmissible, and some of that evidence is hearsay statements, untrue or unfounded character evidence, lies from a witness, or false testimony. How many times have we seen that, guys? We've seen it quite a bit. What was the exact verbiage? Well, you got it now, so it's not considered Brady anymore. And that is where a lot of people kind of hit the floor with that as well. So when you have key issues of concern of prosecutorial misconduct, judicial recusal, when you have a previous judge overseeing the case that was recused due to ex parte communications with prosecutors, that's improper contact between the bench and the prosecution, undermines the impartiality of the court and raises questions about the fairness of the proceedings from their inception. The other thing you have to think of is personal vendetta. Information comes to light suggesting that the prosecution may be motivated by personal vendetta rather than a genuine pursuit of justice. When there appears to be connections between the vendetta and the individuals within the DA's office, it raised serious ethical concerns. And then when you have to question systematic corruption, the issues in the case that appear to be systematic of broader corruption within the justice system, the corruption seemingly extends to various levels of law enforcement and prosecution, eroding public trust in the very institutions meant to serve and protect the community. And you can have legal arguments on that. You can ask for due process violations. The U.S. Supreme Court has consistently held that prosecutorial misconduct can violate a defendant's due process rights under the 14th Amendment. It's right in Brady versus Maryland. The court established that suppression of evidence favorable to the accused violates due process. The apparent pattern of false statements and withholding of information is, may constitute such that violation. The other thing you have to think of is ethical breaches. The behavior exhibited by prosecution appears to violate both the ABA model rules of professional conduct and the Georgia rules of professional conduct Specifically, Rule 3.3, candor toward the tribunal. It prohibits lawyers from making false statements to the court, failing to correct false statements previously made. And Rule 3.8, special responsibilities of a prosecutor, outlines additional ethical obligations for prosecutors, including the duty to disclose exculpatory evidence and refrain from prosecuting charges not supported by probable cause. And then that leads you into abuse of discretion. That's apparent personal motivation behind the prosecution that may constitute an abuse of prosecutorial discretion. You can find that right in Waite versus United States. The Supreme Court noted that while prosecutorial discretion is broad, it is not unfettered and it is subject to constitutional constraints. So we, the people, we can ask for a thorough, independent federal investigation into the conduct of the office in the case and potentially other cases, because there are other cases attached that have been seen that are very questionable, like the gun charge. He is done for life. He's a young man. To review the charges in the apparent misconduct and potential constitutional violations, you can ask for implementation of oversight measures to prevent future abuses and restore public trust in the justice system. You can also ask for consideration of federal civil rights charges against any official found to have willfully deprived anyone of their constitutional rights under color of law. That's 18 USC 242. So there's a lot of hope. When you take the appropriate steps, you just have to take them. I've never seen a case be brought and drug out that long and still not ready to go. Like, this case is still not prepared.
That's why the fight is going to start with us and with voting. So we'll see how it goes tomorrow.
10 years.
10 years is unfortunately too long.
No, I'm saying 10 years as in you have 10 years. You had 10 years to get your case ready. You had 10 years to prepare this case.
For a RICO, subset A or subset B. And she's still trying to figure out which one she wants to charge them with in regards to the conspiracy. But we have to see how it goes. Hopefully it goes in their favor. But again, like I said, it's the community and voting. And our actions are going to speak louder than words.
Not only that, you would think, even if you weren't ready after 10 years,
you have no case.
Even if you weren't ready after 10 years, you had almost 11 months of jury selection. That was way enough time to put that case together. Because there's not much to it. It's just a lot of people thrown on a witness list that keeps going to the witness box that says, why am I here?
Yeah.
I don't know about this. These aren't my charges.
Those are those unindicted co-conspirators.
You harassed me. You made me lose my job. All of these things that just are coming to light. Like, it's not even enough time in a day to go through every single thing, because every single thing has happened more than once. So that's what we're exactly trying to count, is how many times have each of those happened during the, Sylvia, what's tomorrow? 114? Are we at 114?
I lost count.
I think we're at 114. I thought we were at like 111 on Friday.
No, I thought it was 113. We're about 115.
Somewhere around there. And you think of all those days to add up, okay, what's happening with this, what's happening with this, what's happening with this, and then to say, well, you can also charge someone that is not, it's not even on the indictment, or have charges that are not within that indictment. Something she said of that nature on Friday. Did you catch that when you were in there, Sylvia?
No.
She
No.
said that. Yes, she did. They're
I
over
didn't
the
catch it.
over acts that she may bring up to add into the RICO, and that's why she's trying to decipher if it's going to be the RICO subset A or B. And that's what Whitaker was asking, trying to understand what she is trying to do. So she's trying to do the post-indicted overt acts, and that is a law that she's going to research.
That's the stuff that's supposed to be coming in from when they got some charges while they in jail.
Right. Absolutely.
It's the same thing as if you take a pot of water, you boil some spaghetti noodles, and you drain them and you throw them at the ceiling, and whatever sticks, sticks, and whatever falls down, falls down. And that's exactly how we're seeing it, be laid out. And you think of, I've been digging into the other cases of the small fries, of the ones that don't come with a name, they don't come with a team, and see that there's not a big comparison. There's not a big comparison. Anything affiliated with the word gang that they make you plead to, you're finished. And I know through a interview statement, a press conference statement, press release statement that was made, was if you come to her county, you will be charged. If you rap about anything done that happened in the county, you're done. And that is what rap is about. I mean, obviously, fake rap beefs are created all the time. They are the best marketing tool. They're the best marketing tool. You can look at all the rap beefs that there are in history, and what you will find is they either drop a new single right after, or they drop a new album, and those are facts. And then, you also have a bigger platform. You just had a gentleman that was killed in Walgreens by a police officer. They said his hands were up, and the video footage is supposed to have been released now. We did write a letter for here, another one that we are about to jump into and cover, and also connect with the call of action, is for Miss Sonia Macy. Because there was a lot there that was on rap that a lot of people put it under the table and didn't connect those dots. There is supposed to be an alleged neighbor that's seen, before she called the police, she called the police because there was someone she heard on the side of her house, and they were blaming it on, I guess, mental illness, when the neighbor said there was truly two people on the side of her house 20 minutes before that they had seen, and it looked like they were in uniforms.
But not only that, her mother, I do believe, already informed the police department that she has a mental illness. So they already knew what they were going to go to her home in regards to.
And the police officer's wife was her RN.
Yes.
In the mental facility. And so we're going to do, Candy is on that one, and she's still working on it. So that's what we will have for you guys rolled out, and probably about, I say by Thursday, we will have a letter to read, and then we will be able to give you information on the call of action after, that's set up. Hi, Ayana. Says the case has been so crazy that I feel like he mentioned it, but feels like this has been going on for 5 years. I mean, we're almost there, Clifton, to be honest with you. It's getting there. The officer was already irritated as soon as he got on the scene. They were leaving and he decided he wanted to escalate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So true.
And you think of, how easy it is, where situations can change at a drop of a dime. They can change at a drop of a dime. And there's not really much that you can do when you're in a position and you have someone of higher power over you that is demanding. We're in times right now as if you're approached by a police officer, you freeze up.
Absolutely.
And then you have officers that are in fear, that they're in fear of their life, so they're actually defensive patrolling. And there's a difference. But there's been so many videos that have surfaced throughout the entire world that this is why we do what we do. It doesn't start and stop with YSL. This is as a community as a whole. YSL is just one of the bigger ones, but it's one of 5 bigger ones that is within that county. So there's 5 that we have to cover. The Trump one hasn't started back up yet, and we could switch over to that as well. But he is part of, Fulton is part of the petition. And then you think of the housing authority. That's tragic. How many low-income families are affected by that? And it is no joke. You're a single mother. Your funds are low. You have children. Unfortunately, you have to rely on the system even though you don't want to. Your inflation is crazy. You can take the small amount of money and you can go into the grocery store and you're not coming out with the same amount of groceries that you used to. And you look at gas prices, you look at all these things. The least that can happen is be safe. That's the bare minimum. That is the bare minimum. And we can't even get that. You should be able to trust a public official. The amount of talent that Atlanta has and the amount of people that are there that have famous status, you have so many families there that are high tax bracket, that are contributing, that are within that area. Those funds help that city grow. And for all of that to be wasted is just beyond me. And all the numbers keep going up and it's unsafe. I watched an interview from one of the ladies, and she said that she's still living there. She was born and raised there, but she said she has never seen Fulton the way that Fulton has been for the past 2 years. She said that she's even thought about leaving. We do have a family member that is coming up on the page. She had lost a son. She had to deal with the prosecution team, the same one that we're dealing with on all these cases. And she's going to come tell her story about how she was dealt with. And it's sad. She does not have closure. There's no charges. Rarely can get a call back. And right now, it's not a priority. I just couldn't. I couldn't imagine. I can say that I'm thankful. I'm thankful for my kids every day, and I pray that they are safe at all times. They're adults, but I pray that they're safe at all times, because I know that if something were to occur to one of those, it's it'll be on every news channel. On every news channel, I can tell you that. I won't say why, but it'd be on every news channel. You have to demand what you guys need, and you have to understand that a lot of people don't vote. A lot of people don't go to vote because their first thing that they'll say is, well, we don't trust them anyway. When they get into seat, they're just going to lie to us to get in seat. And when they get there, they're going to do what they want, because that's what America has been displayed time after time after time after time. Look how hesitant everyone was when Courtney Kramer came up to say, here's my official press release. I'm running, and here it is. And everyone's like, well, who is she? Is she going to do this? What could be worse than what's happening now? What is worse than what is happening now? You got to know your rights. You got to know that you guys hold the power to keep them there. You have the power to change the entire system, because that's what happens when you go to these places and you go to the Congress and you go to the Senate. You're sitting in there in the Capitol. You're in DC. Has anyone in the chat ever been to DC? Have you guys been inside? I'm just curious if anyone's been to DC.
I've been a couple of times, several times. And I've been to Capitol down here in New York. And both,
were you in awe, like when you went in to the White House, to see like the structure of the inside and how it is, and how they still have desks that were there from
beginning? Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, that was when our first field trip when I was younger. We went to DC, and then when I got older, I went. And right before the inauguration of Obama, I was there doing some stuff there too, meeting the senators and stuff from my area.
Every time I go in there, every time it still is like, it sends the chills down your spine, because you realize that everyone's sitting there. It's like people don't realize you guys sat them there.
Yeah.
J Money, we will be in DC next month, and we will also be there at the end of October. And we will be in Atlanta this month. We're actually thinking about opening up an office in Atlanta. I'll contribute to the community, the kids, the children, the youth. Yes, J Money. Also, if you'd like to do help participate in the call of action, we do have several positions that we need. We have several things like the sign-in board, the petition board, also the water tent, all the different things, because you're pretty much out there all day. I heard about that. Truth be told, I got the call. It says I live in DC. Council got locked up today by the FBI. Yes, that did happen. And they released a statement 3 days ago that they said that America is in a time right now where they are seeing a lot of abuse of discretion. And they are taking it very seriously.
JC, I'm gonna have to let you guys go. It's 11 o'clock. I gotta get my butt in the bed.
Oh yeah, you have to
Yes,
go to
it
court
is getting late.
tomorrow. Yeah, we just have to go when we finish our stuff. So we won't be there. You have a good night, Miss Sylvia.
Good night. We don't start till 12 tomorrow, but I got some
Okay.
places I'm gonna go look at.
Yep, go do that. And then let me know if you need anything. We are always here giving what's going on about there.
All right. Good night, Candy.
All
Good
right, good
night.
night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, good night. Says be mindful of how the ATL people support their own. Everybody's out for themselves. Wow. Yeah, that's really, really that's really unfortunate, because you look at that and you say, you know, why is that like that? But you want to contribute, you want to be able to give back, and you want to be able to put employment right up in there, and be able to help. I love bringing on ones that are eager to learn, that are need a fresh start. They're, you know, just looking for growth, but where they're at, it's not giving it to them. We also do contracting and funding. So if you have a business and you need funding, we are able to do that as well. We do the funding. If you're trying to start a business, we do that as well. And we keep lowest cost to overhead. So that way you have the growth, and then we put you with a contract. So that way your contract can maintain your new business to stay open. And mostly 99% of the contracts are 3 to 5 years. So that gives you firm stability to be able to grow your business. And it's really good. I'm going to give you guys our YouTube. I'm going to drop it in here. You guys are asking. I'll give you our YouTube email. I just got to make sure that it is right. I dropped it in there. It says children deserve to grow old. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. They do deserve to grow old. And parents deserve to be stable. And parents should be able to keep their kids safe without having to worry. I heard an attorney in Atlanta say that the break-ins, the robberies, and everything, that the police are either really extremely delayed, or nothing, or just nothing happens from that. And I can't imagine having that, and just having to go through. And you think of all of the ones that are sitting there. You think of all of the ones around the world that have that. I don't know where you guys are all from, but what do you guys see from your justice system? Are you guys seeing the same the same kind of what you're seeing here. It says here in PACLA D, what's that supposed to say, Ayana? I don't know what that's supposed to say. Do you guys have anyone that is in need? Because obviously, you know, it's Oakland. Yes, I was out there last year. I did some work in Cali last year 4 times. And then I was in Utah, and then I was in Wisconsin, and then I went back to California. Then they sent me back to Utah. But it is really getting bad in the California area as well. It's getting bad kind of everywhere, just around the world. And you're seeing all of these injustices. The major one that, you know, stands out right now is obviously the YSL trial, from how the prosecution has been prosecuting this case and the things that have been going on. And it's just disappointing. These are veteran prosecutors. They are veterans. They have over 15 years of experience, and they are still conducting themselves in this manner. And it can be really hurtful for them. Oh, D. Oh, my God. Nice words for tonight. Let me hear them. Let me just hear them. Oh, no. Yeah, it is. It is really bad, and making sure that just everyone knows their rights and what can be done, what can't be done, who is there to help, who is not there to help, and ways that you can get involved with the call of action. You have to remember that the issues that are raised in the case are far beyond the YSL trial. It's really speaking to the fundamental principle of justice and the equality under the law that formed the bedrock of our society. Intervention is crucial, not just for the YSL trial and the other trials that are going on, but for the countless others who may be subject to similar injustices without the resources or the platform to seek redress. As the title says, you only get as much justice as you afford. Oh no, Oakland has a severe homeless problem. Currently, mayor is under FBI investigation and facing recall election in November. Calls for DA to be recalled too. Wow. Yeah, it's really going on around the world right now. It really is. And we are working with the ones that have reached out, and we are doing everything that we can do. And we'll keep pushing, we'll keep fighting, we'll keep the boots on the ground, we'll keep people aware, and let them know the difference. If they don't know certain ones, we'll let them know. Hello.
Good evening. Good evening. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Oh, good. I just want to hop on and just tell you, I really like the content that y'all putting out. This is y'all second live, right?
Yeah, it's our second live.
Yeah, I was on the first one, and I really like the information that y'all was giving out, and I like I said, the call to action and everything that y'all doing.
We appreciate it. Are you coming to join?
Well, D is my brother. He was on live with you yesterday, and he was telling I'm slick. I'm in Atlanta, so I'm here.
Oh,
So
you
I mean,
are.
yeah, I'm in Atlanta.
Okay. Did you see my email that I put up there?
I did. I just screenshot it because I'm actually driving right now, so I don't know if my signal gonna go in and out.
Okay, just wait till you get home and email it because your safety is way more important. I will get back to you no matter what. But that would be great to bring. He had said yesterday that you were right there and you were affected. And I believe he said that you wanted to be able to help. We have the petition, we have the call of action, and then also we have to go to DC, and then we have to go to Capitol, and we have a couple other Congress, and got to go through the whole process, the loops and the hoops. We have the Attorney General, we have the governor, we have everybody on the list that is supposed to be on the list. That you have to make aware, and then you have to fight for that change. And I thank you for wanting to help and be involved.
Yeah, no problem. But I did have a question though.
Sure.
The title of the night when you said you can afford as much money you have, basically you're saying.
It says you only get as much justice as you
Is it
can
more
afford.
about skin color than money? Because I would say that Young Thug had
He had what? I'm sorry, you went out. Hello?
Well, I want to say I don't believe it's about only skin color. It's
Hold on.
about
Thank you.
hello.
class.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, there
about
you go.
class. So the classism, not just skin color. It's if you have money, regardless of what color you are. We are
He's
living
got to
in a
come.
class
He dropped off.
society.
He dropped off. We got to let him back up. I think his phone was kind of like buffering or something. See, that's a whole thing. Like, our approach is we're not going to talk bad about anyone. That's not what we're trying to do. This is just awareness. We're not bashing any of them as a person. As I stated yesterday, I've been told that their character are actually nice people. I was told that they're very likable in real life. That this is really they could tell that it was sought after and that it was different. But this is not, we are not in the times for this. We are not in the times for this. America is still dealing with injustices. We still have murders that are happening. Police are murdering citizens out here that you see on these video cams that wasn't warranted, excessive force, excessive use, abuse of power. You see all these different things happening. Now is not the time. Now is not the time. This would have been a perfect opportunity to build that whole department up. You have a commissioner that is giving the money and that is putting the funds out there, that is trying to help. I mean, just think of all the millions of dollars that has been, given to do the repairs and do those type of things that haven't been done. How many of us know that if you have $3 million and you go to do repairs for someone and you're intending to spend the whole $3 million, you're going to have new doors, new light bulbs, new drywall. You're going to have no type of mold. You're going to try to fix as much as you can, show exactly what you fixed. And then if you need more, you go for more and show exactly where it's been spent. It's transparency. So it's, just really doing the real, the work, the hard work. It's a lot of work to do a lot of research, to request records, to have to go on, to find people that have been affected, to talk to them, to bring them forward. They have their documentation. We have to make sure it's accurate, it's correct. We have to make sure that, you know, we're not bashing anyone, we're just bringing light. And so there's a difference in educating people of what the difference is of what you're seeing and what would be the outcome in another courtroom. And what would be the outcome that it states in the law. And I was just really disappointed that a lot of people were gravitating onto these little hope words. If the judge said the if word, everybody lost their mind. If she said that, you know, it could be a could be, then everyone loses their mind and they hold on to that, not knowing that it's to be able to quiet it down. And so that's the difference. We don't want to hurt anyone or don't want to come after anyone. We just want to see change. We just want to see change. And if you're not willing to do it and we have to fight hard for it, then that's what we have to do. But everybody has somebody that has been affected. And those are just facts. And you can't help from where you come from. I come from a messed up area, very messed up, small, and a lot of killing, a lot of homicide, a lot of drive-by shootings. And it's like they're saying you're guilty by association. Well, if you grew up with them, you can't help that. And you can't help from where you come from. And you can't help who you know. And unless you had the struggle, then I don't expect anyone to understand. But at least support the fight. Because there's things that a signature goes a long way. A letter written goes a long way. Showing up to speak at the podium in front of them and to tell them what's going on is right there. And so that's exactly you know, why we do what we're doing and why we're here with you guys, and we're reading through these things and reading through what happens when you see these different things and prosecutorial misconduct, malicious prosecutions. What does it mean for exculpatory evidence? What does it mean for inculpatory evidence? Improper arguments. We have heard so many improper arguments that had no weight, had no value. That's another big inflammatory comments, discrimination. And we have, there was another one. I'm going to link some links. There is several books that are really good. One is Preventable Error. And that really gives a lot of inside information, and it really helps. So we have the mother that's coming up that dealt with the same office with her son's passing, and how she was dealt with. She's coming to tell her story. She's willing to share documents. So we're going to talk about that and put her up there. I am going to figure out a way how we can film when we go to the podium and we speak the call to action. We will have a professional videographer that is going to do the pictures and put it into a video without us out there. Ayana, no, it is not the Kendall case. They did talk about it yesterday, though. We did talk briefly about it, but we hadn't gotten through the whole case. So we only really could touch on a few things that we did see. On the medical side of it, I'm like very eager. I just want to write a whole report and give it to whoever is prosecuting, or not prosecuting, whoever is representing the family. Yeah. We want to share the letter as well, and share the letter that's went out to all the hierarchy, for you guys to see those. And then also we're going to do our layout, so you guys can sign up whenever you want to and be able to go out there and then have the links. And I know there is court, they said at 12 tomorrow, so we're going to try to tune in. I know we have a busy day tomorrow, but we usually do the playback to be able to see what's going on. You guys know Miss Sylvia streams it, so we'll usually catch it and see what is happening during the day. Yeah. Says Plant Lady, what's happening in the comments? Thank you, Simply Taught. I think I missed the message from. Yeah, we just want to make sure that, it's being done correctly. It's being done the right way. There's great turnouts, people flying in, people from neighboring counties. We have a few statements that we're waiting from some important people from the Atlanta area to show that they are very disappointed with seeing this, and that they know that they want the change and they are willing to support any way that they can. They just can't be on the front line. And I respect that. I respect that, because everybody, if you have, I have to respect that some people's jobs feed their families, and you just can't risk that. So we just want to, make sure that that is right. Can, do you have anything that you want to give them this evening after we went through
No,
just
I
a couple
don't.
things of what they're hearing?
No, not tonight. Maybe tomorrow.
Yeah. We've had a long day. You guys know I had to drive all the way to Chicago, and that was a long drive on the road. But I feel like we did a very informative live, and we know that we said we were putting out part 2 today, and I just was not able to get it all done being on the road. So I said, we can definitely share part of the letter, and we can share the different verbiage that they're going to hear this week in the courtroom, so they have a true understanding and what the law says the remedy for it is. And we went over all the remedies, and there's only 3, and we're not seeing them. So we're going to keep tuning in and doing exactly what we need to do, and make sure that we are doing the right thing by everyone and anyone. I am going to paste, there's standards for Georgia jail facility. I'm going to pin that reference. And then I'm also going to pin Georgia standards for adult pretrial detention facilities. So you guys can also take a look at that and know exactly what the laws are and what their regulations and statutory regulations are. Yeah. And we want to make you you all think highly of yourselves. D, let's be nice. D, let's be nice. I don't know what's happening, so I don't really know what's happening down there, but I'm going to pin those for you guys so that way you guys have some stuff to read through that can really help if you do have loved ones that are down there and you're seeing some things. I did get some photos from inside the jail of the jail conditions. If you guys are interested in seeing those and what those look like, we'll be more than welcome to share with you guys. Yeah. Yeah, we just want to make sure that that's out there. So I'm pinning that now for you guys. A lot of people are saying it's hard to find the channel. I don't know what is the issue. All the letters are ran together. So we'll try to make sure that everything. Are you guys interested in viewing the photos from in there? Okay. I think that is yeah, this next portion is going to take too long this evening, and we have been on for quite a while. So we're going to actually do that part tomorrow when everybody's rested. It's almost going to be midnight. I've had a long day. Candy's had a long day. So we're going to go ahead and shut this down this evening. If you guys have anything that you want covered, that you want us to cover on more of, or you want us to share more, that would be great. I know, Ayana, I'm trying to keep up. I'm really trying to keep up with what's going down here. There's a lot of arguing that's happening down here. I want you guys just to remember one thing in the chat, guys. Honestly. You guys are very passionate people, and you guys want truth. You guys are seeking truth, and you guys are there. Let's just try to keep it positive, keep it on topic. Join in on the topic, join in on the fight, because all the other things are not going to help with any of these situations that we're boots on ground for, to make sure that there's people on that front line. You have to be on that front line. You have to be willing to fight as much as you can. There's so much happening within this trial that we're trying to catch, especially with the witness that we have right now. This is the star witness. It's at a critical time right now. We just want to make sure that we're respectful to everyone, and we give everybody that grace. And we just want to make sure that everybody's in it, for how will photos help? How will photos help Jeffrey? I will fact check with family before I support this scamish. Boots, if you didn't look, it is Mr. Williams, his father's name, on the petition. We did it together. And you may do so. So photos help Jeffrey because it's in that jail. And so if somebody's eaten alive by bugs, it would definitely help him. And so we want to stay focused on the cause. And you'll see us at the call of action. He'll be right there with us. But what we don't do is the negative, but you may do whatever you want to do. Or I can just bring him on here and he can let you know. Either way. But we won't do the childish arguing back and forth. We are here for a cause, and we are here for support of injustices, not just there, everywhere. And so you're either with the movement or you're just stuck on the one trial. We are stuck on helping everyone in need. We don't just have his. We just want to make sure that it's respectful. And I think you did ask me that earlier, and we had answered you. And you had actually responded positive, so I'm not sure what the difference just was. Yeah, there's a lot going on. Candy. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness, you guys.
Yeah,
You're
it's late, you
associated
guys.
with the well-known. It says you are associated with a well-known scammer. I don't know who you're referring to. My partner, Candy, is nowhere near a scammer. We are professionals, very professional people. And we have firms. We are not scammers, sir or ma'am. I don't know if you're a boy or a girl, a
Maybe
man
it's
or a woman.
since it's
I
late.
don't know if
maybe
I don't know if they
you
were
don't
referring
understand
to
it.
you or this is my actual business partner. And we have a very solid background.
Okay, so perhaps it's
Oh,
getting
not you, Candy. I don't think they're saying
late.
you.
Well, it's getting late.
I'm sorry, Ken. I'm sorry, Ken. I don't know what is
Listen,
happening. I was
I
reading
don't
off
either,
of
but
I
it's
was reading
it's
off
just
of my
getting
board,
late.
and then all of a sudden I got to the comments and I totally just got
That's
lost.
okay.
That
Perhaps we
I'm
need to
like,
pick this up
okay, this
tomorrow.
is not this is not
Conducive of a further conversation. This is what it's not.
well, it really hurts my feelings or not my not hurt me like so to the core as I know them personally, but I just look at it because
We're just here for a cause.
everybody's so
But you know what, you
capable
guys,
to have
thank
part
you.
in it.
Thank
You
you for
guys,
your comments. Thank you for coming here to view us. And perhaps tomorrow we can have a better attitude.
it says, oh, you ladies, great. Oh, thank you, pretty
I'm
chick.
yes, thank you. But
Thank
it is
you. Do
late.
y'all really we do support for everyone that is in it for the right reasons, that are trying. You have to understand social media and YouTube. We are new to YouTube, right? We've had our own personal pages and we would look through stuff, but we didn't ever put business onto YouTube. So that's new for us. That's one thing that we haven't done, but we did realize that most of our places that we're seeing, people are talking about cases that we're doing call of actions on, that there's information that comes from there. We are not bloggers, so we may be sucking at this real bad right now. We will get better at, giving all the information. Yesterday we did some slides. We have a file that we want to share with you guys. We just didn't have enough time to accurately get through it tonight because it's a lot to get through. But we want to make sure that you guys have access to it, because you may need it one day. Your brother, your mother, your son, your daughter, your cousin, aunt, uncle, anybody may need it. I mean, we don't have anything attached to this channel. There's no super chats here. There's no, what was the other thing they were asking yesterday, Candy? It was Super Chat something. I think it was Cash App. I think that's what it was. I mean, we don't have that. We want your signature. Yeah. You're welcome, Ayana. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you, Pretty Chick. Thank you, everyone, for coming in. Mel, DJ, Plant Lady, Shady Slim. Did I miss? Slick. All of you guys that are coming in. Boots, Pretty Brown Eyes. Everyone, we thank you. We thank you for all the support, and we thank you for being informed. Being in the know is everything. And we just want to make sure that, you know, we are connecting with everyone. We're going to connect with, you know, people online, obviously, for petition and for call of action, you know, to have you guys involved. Okay. We will be back on tomorrow, and we will present a few more things tomorrow. We will wait till the evening to go on. We have a pretty busy day tomorrow. So we're probably thinking sometime after 6 p.m. We do, just so you guys know, we don't just randomly go live. We've been trying to give a little bit of a notice. So if you guys can subscribe to all the notifications, you'll get a message to show what time we're going live. We're going to be better about posting it in advance. So that way it's not last minute. We understand you guys have lives. We have lives, and we want to be respectful of your time. And then also ours. But whatever, I mean, it's an open platform. You speak it how you speak it. And we just give it to you how it is. I appreciate every single one of you guys, and we look forward to you guys tomorrow. I hope you guys have a wonderful night and have a beautiful day tomorrow. We will be back recharged. I am so exhausted right now, guys. I'm so tired from that drive. That drive was hard today. So we covered enough today, and tomorrow we will be right back diving into it. But for now, we're going to say good night, and you guys stay blessed.
Good night.